4 more years, you won't have to vote anymore.
It is white men on this side of the aisle telling us that y'all are the ones being oppressed.
Take over, Elijah. Take over.
It was time to face down Goliath. And David, not DeVita.
You ain't worth a damn unless you vote the way we say you should vote.
Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. I am Reese Waters, and this is the Reese Waters Award Show. Now, I know you're asking me what in the world I'm doing with that jersey behind me. Now, occasionally you make a purchase that was perfectly innocent and fine at the time, but as the years go by, you realize just how problematic that purchase was and realize you will never, ever be able to use it. But then comes a moment like today where we are highlighting the biggest troll in MAGA, and it becomes the perfect accompaniment. Shall we? Coming into the year, our biggest troll in MAGA-verse. We probably had a three-headed monster for the favorite coming into the year, starting with one Charlie Kirk. Now, here's how we started.
I wanted to make sure that, after that conversation, we talk about the positives. And then we also get into some of the other implications of this. We're a truth-seeking show. But I can say declaratively, this guy is not worthy of a national holiday. He is not worthy of godlike status. In fact, I think it's really harmful. And, kind of going off your speech, I could have done the old conservative thing. I could have hid in the corner, said, you know what, I'm so sorry, how dare I? Because I saw the chatter increasing. I saw the right-wing intelligentsia saying, no, Charlie, it's a career ender. You don't do this. You just say MLK was awesome, and you don't ask questions, and you just kind of walk away. I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I think that kind of attitude is destructive and wrong, and we felt the pressure that day. We were getting text messages of people saying, Charlie, this is going to end your career. Charlie, you'll never be back in decent circles. And I said, you know what, honestly, I don't subscribe to that. I'm going to trust the Lord. I know what we're saying is true. We had some very good guests on.
Now, Charlie spent a lot of the year arguing against DEI, and he was willing to make any argument possible to explain why black people deserved absolutely nothing.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
You want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate. No, you wouldn't have done that before. That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
He would even assert his point on college campuses, which I'll be honest, didn't go all that great.
California, I get less of a vote than someone who exists in Wyoming. So we're giving people in Wyoming more say than they necessarily should, given that they're one individual. So why do you believe in DEI as it relates to how our government is set up? But you don't believe in DEI in terms of allowing for people who are black or who are women to be in positions of power that they have not been allowed in, historically speaking.
Then there was that whole mess on stage where he threatened to fight Cenk from the Young Turks.
Larger. The point is larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk.
Guys.
I live as a capitalist,
hey,
okay? I live when I believe.
No.
What do? I get charity every single year.
Hold on.
What's my salary? Less than his.
Charlie, take a
Come on,
seat.
Cenk, let's go.
Charlie,
what are you doing?
Take a seat. Take a seat.
Psycho?
All right, no. Take a seat. You're going to take a seat. You're going to take a seat over here.
Oh, my God.
What's my salary?
All right.
Oh, ridiculous. All right, behave, everyone. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I practice what I preach, Cenk.
Charlie.
You do not practice what you preach.
Charlie.
All right, hold on. Last point.
You don't want to give him the attention here.
Everyone,
35,000 donors across the country,
Last point.
We are funded by the grassroots of this country.
But they were able to patch that up within the year. You know what? Can Cenk be nominated? Does he qualify? But this year was filled with L's for one Charlie Kirk. I mean, look no further than the DNC.
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Why did you say that the civil rights bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy. I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
Because we have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in the state of Georgia.
What's your name?
He said Parker?
My name's Parker. We have a Republican governor and Republican secretary of state in Georgia that approved our elections, and Donald Trump said that wasn't constitutional.
Relax.
Donald Trump tried to undermine our Constitution.
You're at 10. I just walked in. I'm here to just learn.
Hey, you're an anti-patriotic, anti-constitutional person crashing our party
So let me
because
ask you
you
one
tried
question.
to stop our democracy.
I got one question.
Donald Trump called the
Can I ask you
secretary
one
of state of
question?
Georgia and told him to find him some votes.
What is a woman?
Oh my God. That is so fucking weird, y'all. Maybe you should meet one.
Now, our second favorite coming into the year has to be Ben Shapiro because, well, his reputation precedes him.
I just asked you a question.
And I asked you a question. You failed to answer a single one of mine. Frankly, I find this whole thing a waste of time. If you want to read the book and critique the book, why don't you read and critique the book? If you want to critique me, you can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you
frankly,
just try and
I don't
answer
care.
the
I don't frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you.
And I've never heard of you until I briefed myself for this. But that's not the issue. You have a
Then
new
why the hell
book
are you
out,
interviewing
and
me, sir?
it's an interesting book. But my point is, your book claims that
Well, it'd be nice if you would quote it from time to time.
Your book is, well, actually, I've done so several times, and I'm about to do so again, if you would let me just finish the question. Your book
frankly, I don't
claims
think
that
this, you know what?
society
Honestly,
is turning its
sir,
back on Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, this,
what are
considering
those values?
what
are the values it's turning its back on?
I'm not inclined to continue an interview with a person as badly motivated as you as an interviewer. So I think we're done here. The disparities between black and white wealth in America are not wholly due to the legacy of slavery, which they are not. Okay, they are not. They're in part due to the legacy of Jim Crow. They're in part due to the legacy of slavery. Jim Crow more than slavery simply is a time factor because Jim Crow is a lot more recent. People who are still alive experienced Jim Crow, many of them. But even that pales in comparison to the fact that intergenerational poverty is largely a function at this point in American life of individual choice. 17, 18-year-old people who are making poor decisions to impregnate women and then leave or commit crimes.
Do yourself a favor and please go to this video and read the comments. It will make your day. I have not seen this type of unity from the American people in a very long time. Everyone coming together to ratio Ben Shapiro's video, where he attempts and fails to blame the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO on the left, the evil left. Now, his whole business model is predicated on keeping people divided. That's his whole shtick. But another part of it is that he is literally this type of plutocrat. So of course he's butthurt because not only is he one of the elites who often brags about how he's so famous he has to have security wherever he goes, but his whole job is to do propaganda for the rich and the elites and the 1% and the corporations and the Israeli regime. Literally though, look at his investors. Look at the people who fund Daily Wire.
If you don't like that health insurers often deny coverage for certain pre-existing conditions or non-covered doctors or medication, you can then go of a health insurance company. This is revolutionary leftist evil. And it's evil for a couple of reasons. First, violence is not justified in a democracy where your say is part of the process. This is why democracies are generally good, because they outsource the violence to the government. Revolution to overthrow tyranny is justified, but tyranny has to be actually real, and violence has to be the last resort. I didn't like public policy in California, so I picked up my family and my company, and we left. Okay, tyranny is not real in the case of healthcare in the United States.
Geez, there's so much to say in just that short clip. And I got a couple other really good clips from that show, but you know, I don't want to make this too long. You guys know how I get. I love how he just gives away what a rich piece of shit he is and that he has absolutely no idea what it's like to struggle or get fucked over by a health insurer because he's rich. He doesn't have to worry about that. Dealing with health insurance isn't tyranny. Really, bitch? Tell that to the person dying of a disease that they have to crowdfund on GoFundMe to try to pay for because their health insurance that they also pay for doesn't cover it. Also, the part he said about democracy. That's not how democracy works, man. He said that's why democracies are generally good because they outsource the violence to the government, and then when you live in a democracy, you have a say. You are so close, Benny. You are so close to getting it. Yeah, that's what people have realized, is that they don't have a say. We may live in a democracy in name, But this is not a functioning democracy where the people have a say. The people with money and the elites and the oligarchs and the corporations and the foreign lobbies are the ones who have a say. It's not hard to find what the public supports. If we lived in a democracy, we'd have a higher minimum wage. If we lived in a democracy, corporations would pay taxes. If we lived in a democracy, we'd have paid family leave. If we lived in a democracy, private equity goons wouldn't be able to price regular Americans out of the housing market. But instead, we get a TikTok ban, something that literally no American wants. There was a Princeton study some years ago that found that public opinion had little to no effect on public policy. Do you guys know that the inequality that we live with now is worse than the Gilded Age? You can only squeeze people and fuck them over for so long before people get fed up. Eventually, people are going to start to notice, and they're going to start asking questions about that. And they're going to start wondering why they're getting screwed like that. And it seems as though some people in your audience are actually starting to ask that question and figure that out, which I know is bad for business, but you're going to be okay because your rich benefactors and investors are going to back you and your shitty content no matter what you do. Because clearly you don't understand how healthcare actually operates in this country. And you don't seem to understand how the system actually works either. Or you're just lying. Both can totally be possible. Either way, you don't really seem like you know what you're talking about. So you should probably let people who know what the fuck they're talking about deal with this. And you can go back to making bullshit culture war videos about Barbie and why you're mad at her as a 45-year-old man. Totally normal. Not weird or creepy at all.
Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic. Don't be a wap.
Huh? Oh, he packed up Candace Owens, didn't he? Ooh. Well, I don't agree with his reasoning, but you cannot be troll of the year if you packed up Candace Owens. All right, let's move on to the next one. Our third favorite coming into the year, Nick Fuentes. Yeah. Now, he got off to a rough start in 2024. It looked like he was trolling in the wrong direction.
He's admitting, he says, oh, I lost by a whisker. So what was the point? Like, what's the point of any of it? You lost in 2020? Seriously? I mean, what are we even doing anymore? Then you're a loser. Then you're a loser. You just lost. Then you lost to Joe Biden. You deserve to be charged. If he admits that he lost, then that actually vindicates the DOJ charge against him. Because the charge is that he knew he lost, but he lied to defraud the people. That's the DOJ's charge. So why did we do Stop the Steal? Why did anyone go to January 6th? Why is anyone sitting in jail? Why did anything bad happen to anybody? Why did everyone get censored? Why is everything bad that has happened to the people that are involved, why did that need to happen if you're just going to walk it all back and say, oh, I lost? Well, it would have been good to know that before 1,600 people got charged. It would have been good to know that before I had all my money frozen, put on a no-fly list, banned from everything, lost all banking and payment processing.
But every troll needs their Heisman moment. That's right, the moment that really separates them from the competition, the thing that becomes synonymous with the year that was. And Nick Fuentes certainly had his Heisman moment post-election when he went with this. A whole year we've been talking about women trying to preserve their bodily autonomy and their concerns going into the election, in the light of the repeal of Roe v. Wade. Your body, my choice. Yeah, that didn't go well. No, that did not go over well.
So I am now going viral on TikTok, Twitter, Google search trends for my very funny clip on my election night stream. In a moment of exuberance and jubilation, I excitedly declared that since Donald Trump became the president, women's bodies are now under our control. And I mean that. I said it's their body, but it is our choice. And politically, I'm obsessed with controlling women's bodies. I'm going to tell them what they're allowed to do with them. It's my decision. We as males, we as men control their bodies. They have no say in the matter, and that comes to abortion as well as every other issue. Henceforth, men will be controlling what you eat, what you wear, whether you can have an abortion, what your hair looks like, when and whether you can cut your hair. We'll be controlling how much makeup you wear, what you do with your nails. We'll be controlling who you have sex with. We'll be controlling where you live and where you go, what time you go to bed. We're going to be controlling all of that. And this is subject to the law according to Project 2025.
A few moments later.
Here's my side story. I'm in fear for my life. People have been posting my address online for the past 3 days, telling me they're coming to me, they're coming to me. I have all screenshots, posting pictures, showing how long it's going to take to get to my house. And I have people showing up all day. And that's my side of the story.
Hey, Megyn Kelly, yeah, this you, right? This was the party you said was too brotastic. Yeah, y'all were too brotastic. And why don't you tamp it down? Cause they really do love women. They really are. This y'all, right? Yeah. She should be nominated for Pick Me of the Year. Oh, she is? Okay, that's good. I mean, she gotta be when this is what women had to deal with after that.
Here's a little PSA for all the little boys out there. I say little boys because no self-respecting man or young man would ever use the phrase, your body, my choice, toward a woman or a young lady. If you have used this phrase, you have shown your intent to SA that woman or young lady, which means you are a direct threat to her. So I've had a talk with my daughter. If that phrase is ever used toward her, eyes, nose, crotch, throat, one of those things will be gouged, bleeding, or crushed. Or all the above. This is not a fad. This is not something to play around with. I come on here to do funny content and make people's lives better. I try to. But when I hear that there are kids even joking, you don't know. You don't know if they're joking. You don't know any of this. You don't know what their intentions are. But if you're saying it, to me, that means you have an intent to hurt and destroy someone. So all bets are off after that. There's your PSA.
But then ultimately, Nick Fuentes' year had a certain level of symmetry because he started out trolling in the wrong direction and he went back to trolling in the wrong direction. Yeah, he was one of our late entries that I was willing to accept, him going all the way in at the tech bros. Actually, he was more so going in at Indians. I don't really care about the economy that much. I just don't want to live in a country that looks like India. Remember that the tech bro oligarchs are almost all immigrants themselves. They're wealthy, pro-gay, atheist, cosmopolitan liberals who bought the dip when Trump was at his lowest so that he could make them richer. They were never American nationalists.
I hate to say I told you so, although I don't really. It actually feels really good. I feel really good saying, I told you so. I told everybody exactly what would happen. Nobody listened. Nobody listened. They all attacked me. They should have been attacking Trump. They should have been attacking the people on Trump's team. Instead, they attacked me, and now this is what you get. This is what you all get. This is what you voted for, and nobody could say that they didn't know, because I told you.
But ultimately, I believe that a troll of the year is somebody who not only comes in with a certain amount of momentum, even though I might not have known this person specifically. What I found out was shocking, that this is somebody with open access to the internet.
Then you'll need to relieve.
Donald Trump, help us. Please help us, Mr. President, before it is too late, because Jack Dorsey is trying to influence the election, to sway the election.
What's she saying? I can't understand her. What?
Steal the election. That is why
What's
he
she?
is censoring and shadow banning.
How about it in? 12 and a half, 15, 7 and a half, $20, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 30. Yep, $30 down here, 2 and a half, 5, 35, 7 and a half, 40. Yep, $40, 2 and a half, 5, 45, 7 and a half, 50. That's $50 down here, 2 and a half.
Officer, will you escort this young lady out, please?
Yep.
I'm there just to ask questions that everybody wants answers to. I don't have a weapon, and they're so scared of me. And I have now been thrown out of Nikki Haley's events and Ron DeSantis's events for just standing there. I didn't even get to open my mouth before I was thrown out. Generally, I, get thrown out after I open my mouth.
And called me crazy, but what are they doing? I want to know what people are actually going to do. My life is ruined. Does anybody understand how ruined my life is? I'm sick of it. I don't want to listen to people tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist. They don't know what it's like to be me. My life is ruined, Alex.
I had no idea who she was, but I found out.
Independent black woman, I don't need no man, and I'm gonna get Whitey. And I'm gonna lock Donald Trump up, just like Letitia James, right? And she goes, now you're gonna elect me, and I'm gonna lock him up. We're gonna get Trump. Like the way they talk and their little DEI Shaniqua voices, and they all have the same voice. I'm talking about Kamala Harris, Letitia James, and Fannie Willis. Like meritless DEI Shaniquas talk the same way. It's very obnoxious the way that they talk.
If you don't get your botched nose job, right nostril bigger than the other, herpes mouth lip because it's kind of red in the corner, sideburn thicker than mine, double chin, dirty neck crease, disproportionate bad built dimensions, buck tooth, leave it to Beaver, Squidward when he got that chiseled ass jaw look on, SpongeBob looking ass the fuck up out of here. Mind you, this is the same broad who tweeted if Kamala Harris makes it to the White House, Ebonics will replace English as the language of our land. When Kamala did a video with Megan Thee Stallion, the same broad who tweeted, just a reminder that Kamala Harris isn't black. She's Indian American. She pretends to be black as part of a delusional Democrat DEI quota. And if Kamala Harris wins the White House, it will smell like curry and White House speeches will be facilitated via a call center and the American people will only be able to convey their feedback through a customer satisfaction survey at the end of the call that nobody will understand. But in the same breath wants to call Kamala Harris a DEI Shaniqua? And the thing is, this is the lady who Trump has in his orbit constantly.
The kind of person who has absolutely no sense of decorum whatsoever. It doesn't matter if somebody is the sitting vice president. It doesn't matter if somebody is the sitting president. Now, if you think that somehow there was some sense of decorum because Joe Biden's ex-wife had passed away, how about somebody who just passed away? There was what she said about Sheila Jackson Lee. Now, the problem with somebody that's sorry and unapologetic, they are by nature unstable. Okay, so it is extremely hard to keep them focused on any particular task at hand. They are willing to fire off at anybody and everybody, and we have seen that with her willingness to go to war with MAGA. So when Marjorie Taylor Greene comes with this,
I have concerns about her rhetoric and her hateful tone. To me, many of the comments that she makes and how she attacks Republicans like me, many other Republicans that are strong supporters of President Trump, I think they're a huge problem. And that doesn't represent MAGA as a whole. It doesn't represent who we are as Republicans.
A true troll will drop the whole bridge on her head. Remember when you destroyed your family so you could have sex with a Zangief cosplayer? Who's writing her stuff? Tell me again how you and the Arby's in your pants are representatives of the GOP. What am I supposed to do with that? Huh? What am I supposed to do with that? Huh? Arby's didn't deserve that. Huh? Arby's just wants to make healthy roast beef sandwiches. They just want to make affordable, healthy meals, and they have to get brought into this. You know, think of the innocent Americans that are suffering because of the image that you just put in people's heads. Now, after she had gotten run from the Trump camp after the debate debacle, I thought maybe her candidacy was going to lose a little bit of steam. You know, I thought it was going to lose a little bit of steam. I wouldn't have expected her to be sitting here accepting this award, but it was in the closing days of the year where she cemented my choice. The elephant in the room is that Elon Musk, who is not MAGA and never has been, is a total effing drag on the Trump transition. He's a stage 5 clinger who overstayed his welcome at Mar-a-Lago in an effort to become Trump's side piece and be the point man for all of his accomplices in big tech to slither into Mar-a-Lago. Quite frankly, if you can find somebody else who you feel like needs to receive this award, I would like to ask you, how do you get more unsavory, immoral, and straight up disgusting as Laura Loomer was in 2024? I don't know that you can. I really, what you gonna give me? What you gonna give me? Congratulations, Laura Loomer. You are our MAGA troll of the year.